until Thursday, October the 3rd, for governing Conservative Party to hold their annual conference. The UK lawmakers vote against adjourning Parliament. So that vote is 306 to 289. UK Parliament Speaker Bakal saying the election cannot take place before October the 31st under existing statutory framework.
All right, good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. All right, let us know if everything is working well. Video, audio, visual. Interesting. Interesting. All right, terrific. Good morning, Ben. Good morning, Gizmo. All right, to start off this morning, we are short of crude oil here. All right, at 55 spot 89. All right, let's see how that plays out. Gap down. See if it carries lower. Yesterday we were looking for those who were not around. Yesterday we were looking for a recovery back to or above the cycle day one low, which we did fulfill. Price did fulfill later in the afternoon on the rally. So when price opens below the cycle day one low on a cycle day three, or on a cycle day two for that matter, all right, odds favor returning or recovering back to the cycle day one low by day's end. And by doing so, that completes what's called the 3-day cycle statistic, which simply means that it's a positive 3-day cycle. And a positive 3-day cycle is defined as price at or above the cycle day one low, which is the initial marker, all right, at or above the cycle day one low by the end of cycle day three. Okay, and that fulfills the statistic. Does not necessarily mean it reaches cycle targets, okay, but typically that happens as well. So yesterday, it took pretty much all session, but got there, and here we are right now in the overnight, recovering part of that decline that occurred a couple days back. And if you take a look here, where the big line in the sand that has been around has been the 3,000, right? So that obviously has been violated, right? Now we have the 3-day central pivot zone that's starting to roll a bit, okay? But again, all that this has really done is expand the current trading range. And you can see here as I scroll out a bit, again, a key low is going to be down here near the 58s, which I believe was it tested yesterday? I think it was tested yesterday. All right, so we have a key, 5-day line in the sand down around the 58.60 area. So that becomes important now, all right, to hold on any future test. On the flip side, again, this is somewhat of some people have referred to it, sent me some messages, and do we have a big head and shoulders pattern? I'm not a big head and shoulders pattern type person, but I can see what they're talking about. You get a kind of a double high up here for the head. Okay. You may have a left shoulder on this side and a potential, right shoulder working over here with roughly the 93, 96s being the upside test. So we'll see if that plays out or not. Again, head and shoulders patterns tend to be fairly complex at times. And having that level of complexity effectively increases the margin of errors. Okay, so what I prefer to do is I prefer to take each piece of it, if it's going to develop as a head and shoulders patterns or whatever the case may be. I'm still looking, I'm drilling down into the the segments of it. Okay, so if this is the head up here, all I'd be looking for is a retest of that prior high. If it fails, I'm looking for an initial push down and then a retest failure. Okay, so that's the idea of breaking it down into its components. All right, particularly when you have fairly complex patterns. So when you scale out, you zoom out, might look like a head and shoulders pattern, but question becomes, well, how did you trade it? You know, what does it actually imply? All right, so, you know, as traders, we have to be, you know, in the moment. All right, if you want to be a technical analyst of some sort and you're getting paid in that capacity, then it's great to have all these, you know, bigger type patterns that you can lay out. Oh, by the way, after the fact, okay, and make you look like the smartest guy in the room. But in fact, traders, as we are, we're not technical analysts, although we're very competent in reading patterns. We have to, you know, be in the moment and trade them, you know, piecemeal, segmented. All right, so that's kind of what I look at. I'm looking for, you know, levels to hold, fail. What's the, you know, reversal point off of that? What would be the pattern? And again, a typical 1, 2, 3 type pattern usually works out fairly well. It's a fairly reliable pattern. All right, so coming into today, after testing the 5860 level there, we're back up about 30 handles or so. And the average range, by the way, 10-day range is 30 handles. So we're pretty much back at the average, you know, range distance. Okay, we're also back into an area of high volume, right? And again, areas of high volume indicate large two-sided trade, balanced action in that vicinity, a lot of commitment, if you think about it that way as well, a lot of commitment. All right, with that. So now we have, you can see here in the overnight, as we drill down a little bit closer, right? So you had the initial move off the low, and then during the overnight period, we had this pullback here. Well, if you take a look, we have a low volume area, and those low volume areas typically offer support or resistance points, all right, on a back test into them. So in this case, the back test was into it from the higher. So again, the expectation there would be a buy response coming in. All right, getting close to a stop and reverse on this crude oil here. It didn't carry down to the initial target, so that may give us a stop and reversal here around the 08s. Looks like 08s. All right, so crude oil has been fairly choppy in terms of, you know, double stops and reversals lately. Just the pattern that it's you know, currently playing out. Over the summer, it was really worked well for us. So, you know, right now this is what's the pattern is. So there's not much we can do about that. Play it as it unfolds, and keep the risk under control, and let the probabilities over a large sample size of trades. All right, don't get too despondent on 1 or 2, you know, losses. Again, they occur, but over time, all right, again, the open range strategy has been working very well. Okay, so not sure where we go from here overall. We could have a little bit of, even though it's a cycle day 1, it's the beginning of a new cycle. We actually have the rally up off the lows yesterday. So we'll see if, you know, this overnight low becomes our cycle day 1 low or not. Given that the fact that price is back in this high congestion area, my sense is we'll probably get some spurty, yes, it's a technical term, SPURTY. No, it's not a technical term. Some spurty type action. So just stay on your toes. Again, highest quality type trades, all right, from levels, first pullbacks, XMOs, all right, you know the drill. All right, stay with those. And if it's not developing as such, then again, stand aside until it does. What else? I think that's it, right? So for those of you who were not around yesterday late, okay, today after the close, we're holding a kind of an informal, Q&A, right? Kind of an ask me anything type session. I have no topic.
Order submitted.
Okay, we got stop and reverse on the crude at 5607.08. All right, so we got to stop and reverse there. Let me just type that in. I'm sorry, 5607. 56.07. So again, I've only received one question on an email last evening. That will take me about 3 minutes to answer this evening. Okay, I'd like to make it a little bit longer than 3 minutes. So if you guys have questions, if anybody has questions about anything they've been studying, need clarification, clarity on, any aspect of the method. Okay, many of you have been watching the videos for a period of time now. All right, I'd like to think that the videos are complete and comprehensive, but I know that not to be the fact. And there are probably some holes, that need to be filled in regards to understanding the various setups and so forth. So today we'll hold, again, it'll be as short or as long as anybody, you guys make it. All right, for those that want to attend, it will be recorded, assuming we have a decent session, long enough to record. And but if guys want to come up, if you have questions, comments, you have issues, your successes, pretty much anything. All right. So come with your questions. Again, I'll make it, an hour long. I'll make it 5 minutes long. It's going to be really dependent upon the membership. So if you have questions, you can ask them then. Have them prepared, and you can just simply copy and paste them, into the chat box, that type of thing. We can go over the, charts, etc. You can send them to me on the email today, and I can, again, we can go over. Like I said, I only received one last night, and literally it'll take me 3 minutes to answer. All right, so and again, if you guys don't have questions, if you don't need any clarification, that's terrific in one sense. I'm a little skeptical, on that nobody needs clarification on anything. But if you do, we're here and ready to accommodate you there. All right, let's see what happens today. 5 minutes to the opening bell for the NQ. Anybody have any questions about this morning's opening? Again, we may get double stopped here on the crude oil yet again. After we've got a few double stops this month. So September, not the strongest of months, but is what it is. This is 5607, right? All right, I'll be back in 5 minutes for the NQ opening. We got the indexes open here now, so let's see how NQ fares for us this morning on the open. Q triggers to the south. 77.99 spot 50. First target zone 87.50.
ECB's Draghi here, speaking in Frankfurt, says the macroprudential framework in the EU is incomplete.
Order filled.
All right, first target hit.
Order filled.
And we got a double stop on crude oil. That's nice. All right, stop automatically comes to even on the Auto X NQ.
Fed's Kaplan here says aging of workforce is a key issue for GDP growth. Kaplan there, speaking at an event in Dallas. Seeing here, the US Fed is seen buying 315 billion in US Treasuries over 6 months, starting November
Alright, stop
1st
move
to
to
increase reserves.
first
That's Morgan Stanley
target.
there saying this.
Alright, for a lock at 77.50. Again, shooting for that 72s down here. Just missed it by a tick.
Just to repeat that then from Morgan Stanley, saying the US Fed is seen buying 315 billion in US Treasuries over 6 months, starting from November the 1st to increase reserves.